Morning everyone. For the next few weeks we're going to be looking at godly character. Now, what's character, you might think? Well, character is what makes us who we are. So it's what you think, what you feel, what you say, and how you act and behave. And when we follow Jesus, we want to try and be more like him. So how can we do that? How can we create a godly character? Well, for the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at that, and we're going to be building together this tree. Now, I've got the tree trunk here, and we'll be adding bits to it as the weeks go on. And you can follow doing this at home if you like. If you go to the end and get your grown-up to click on an attachment, it will show you some ideas of how you can make your tree yourself, or you can use a tree in the garden, or you could use a pot plant or something. There's some ideas on there. So, the first godly characteristic we're going to look at today is trust. I'll get this one. And trust is very important. God wants us to trust him. God is always good. Even when we can't really understand why something's happening, God is always good, and he wants us to trust him. Now, this is a really important one to have as a foundation. So when we're going to get our soil ready for our tree, we're going to put trust at the bottom, because trust is a really important thing to build on. So it's hard sometimes to trust God because we can't always see him, but he is always there, and he always loves us, and he is always watching over us. So if you're up to 6 years old, the Bible story you'll be looking at today is Noah. And for the older children, you'll be looking at the parable of the two builders, because the Bible has a lot to say about trusting God. For example, Noah had to trust God all the time, all the way through the story of Noah. He's trusting God and trusting God and trusting God. He trusts God that God will send a storm. He trusts God to build that ark, even though everyone laughed at him. He trusted that God knew what he was doing, and he trusted God to build the ark. He obeyed God. He trusted God to keep him and all of his family and all of the animals safe in the ark for those 40 days and 40 nights, and they must have been so scared. And then he also trusted God when God sent the rainbow as a sign of a promise that he'd never do that again. So all the way through, he trusted God. And for you older children looking at the parable of the two builders, you'll be thinking about what am I going to build my life on as I get older? Am I going to be like the wise builder? Am I going to be like the foolish builder? What are my foundations going to be? Are they going to be good, solid foundations based on trusting God and obeying him so that you can see fruit grow in your life? So if you get your grown-up to follow through, I think if you look at the email that your grown-ups have got, you'll be able to follow through all the different things that I've picked out for you to do. There's a man on YouTube doing a really good explanation of what trust really means. So if you're thinking, well, what exactly does trust mean? You can have a click on that YouTube clip, and there's a very good explanation of that. And then there's the story of Noah for the up to sixes, and then the Colliers have done a lovely performance for you based on the parable of the two builders, and have a think about what that might mean. And then if you go to the end of the email, there's also an attachment with a big workbook of different activity sheets for you to download and print off at home and do, and some songs as well. See you next week. Bye.